welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the basics, and that is glassware. The glassware is something that should enhance the craft cocktail experience, and it's important to serve the right drink in the right glass. Down at the end here, we're going to start with the basic, the wine glass. It's iconic, everybody knows it. It doesn't only have to be used just for wine. Sometimes when you go to a wedding, they want the drink to look a little bit fancier, so they'll use this as a cocktail glass and they'll put soda in here and whatever. But that is your wine glass, and again, it's designed so you put your nose in there. It's got a big open rim so you can smell the grapes. That's another topic for another time, is all about wine and vinology. This other one, you've probably seen at brunch. It's a mimosa glass. You will see orange juice and champagne served in this. It's called a champagne flute, but again, you'll see this in Bellini and other fancy brunch cocktails. And of course, if there's a glass for wine, there's one for beer. This is a big bulb. Again, if you have a craft beer, you don't have to put it in a pint glass. You could put it in something like this. And of course, there's a cider glass, which can also double as a beer glass. In fact, when I drink craft beers or microbrews, I put them in a cider glass. Now we move on to cocktails. And cocktails are typically served in a stem glass. Stem means you just got this part here like a little pedestal. Never should a martini be served in a glass like this. And trust me, I've seen it. The idea behind this is that you want it to be elegant, you know. Take a sip, go slow, enjoy it. What you never want to put in here are ice cubes. Because of the incline, you don't want the ice cubes falling into your mouth and running down the side of your neck, and then you look foolish. There are many innovations on the martini glass, or the cocktail glass, and this is one of them. This is called a Nick and Nora. Not sure why they call it that, but this is also used for cocktails, and this is an older version. One glass I wasn't able to find, I could only find online, is a coupe, and that's similar to a martini glass, except for it's got slopes on the side. It's more like an old-fashioned champagne glass. I enjoy that more. It's easier for me to drink a martini or even champagne out of that glass than one of these flutes. There are many innovations of the martini glass, and here's the only one I really like. And the reason is you still got the V-shaped martini, but in here is what holds all your ice. So your martini is always cold if you just put it back in its little cup. This is clever. I'm not sure who invented that. When you are drinking something with a lot of ice or soda, you want something called a highball glass. This is something that typically gets a lot of ice, and you want to keep the drink cool, and it doesn't matter if the drink gets watered down a little bit. And of course, you always want a long straw for this. Not one of these little short ones that would go into a rocks glass. So why do they call it a rocks glass? Because you put ice in here. This is for when you want scotch on the rocks, vodka on the rocks, anything on the rocks, but you don't want a lot of ice because you don't want to freeze it out or dilute it. If there's something you want to keep cold, long, then you use the double rocks glass. And this is specifically designed not to fill with more ice, but to use a very large ice cube. And the reason is that the smaller ice will melt and dilute the drink quicker, but one large ice cube, it should last a long time for the duration of the entire cocktail, which is about 45 minutes. There will be minimal, if no dilution at all. Rocks, double rocks. Typically you'll see a rusty nail served in this. Typically you will see a white Russian in a glass like this, a black Russian, Kahlua and cream, perhaps a gimlet. Very versatile glass in the bar, especially if you're just drinking spirits on the rocks. Now, if you're just drinking straight spirits and you want to actually enjoy the experience of just tasting the spirit alone, then you would get a Brandy Snifter. And this, again, this is something with a wide mouth, so you can put your nose in there and you can smell it. So you're enjoying it as you're tasting it, you're examining it, you're figuring out what you like, what you don't like. Is it sweet? Is it smoky? Is it spicy? Back in the 1990s, the Glencairn was invented, and this is a fantastic glass. If you really like your single malt scotch, or your bourbon, or your rye, or any whiskey, this is the glass. You may not think that the design of the glass is important, but try your favorite whiskey from a glass like this, and then try it in a glass like this. You will notice a whole bunch of other subtleties that you never discovered before. And anytime I've given this to someone, they agree. This is the way to go when you're tasting anything that's been aged in a barrel. That includes brandy, rum, cognac, scotch, bourbon, anything like that. This is the glass you want. They're cheap. They're only about $10. All these glasses are actually pretty cheap. You could get any of these for under $10. Some of them you could even get like this for $1 at the discount stores. That brings me to my favorite, tiki mugs. I like tiki mugs a lot. The old school ones, they're very interesting, they're fun, they're exotic. The only thing I really don't like about it is if it's a colorful drink, you can't see the color of the drink. In that case, they have other glasses like the Pearl Diver, and this is meant to be filled with ice and to show off the color. And the same thing with the Double Rocks glass. Double Rocks glass, typically a Mai Tai is always served in a glass like this, and you want to leave plenty of room for all the garnishes. In the same respect, I know I said one large ice cube could go in here, but if it's a tiki drink, this would be a whole glass full of crushed or pellet ice. Last but not least, the ones that probably got us into trouble at one time or another, especially in college, the shot glass. And this is really only meant to hold about an ounce. These taller ones, maybe 2 ounces. Typically you'll see these when in the Spanish soap operas when they're doing tequila. They're called shooters. These are just when you just want to throw something back and you're anxious to get that buzz real quick. I don't recommend it. I enjoy any of the spirits. I don't really do shots. I mean, not since college. There are so many more glasses. I could spend probably an hour here on all the different types of glasses, and I don't have a budget big enough to buy all these glasses. So these are just the basics. Again, it's important to the experience of what you're drinking and the craft cocktail itself. You got to know what to use and when to use it. You never want to see a martini in a glass like this or a glass like this. You want it to be in a stemmed, chilled glass. You chill it by either filling it up with ice, throwing the ice out, or just leaving it in the freezer until you're ready to use it. This is going to enhance your experience. And as we saw in the last video, there is a way to serve the wrong drink in the wrong glass. Doesn't matter if you're at home or you're out. This is an experience. Enjoy it. If you're just looking to go out and get drunk, then these shot glasses will do just fine. Or just better yet, take a straw, put it in a bottle of vodka, and sip away. And no, I don't recommend that. I'm joking. But seriously, find the glass that's right. And you don't need all these glasses. You only need about less than half of them. You definitely want a rocks glass. You definitely want a highball glass. You definitely want a stem glass. All the rest, that's if you really want to get specific at your home bar. But you're at a real bar and you're paying a lot of money for that cocktail, they better be using the right glassware that's going to enhance your experience. Hope to see you again soon. Cheers.